class. Laika, please lead our prayer. Okay, good morning again, class. How are you doing today? Okay, that's great. So now, let me check your attendance first. Very good. Perfect attendance. Before we will start our discussion for this morning, who can recall what was our last topic? Yes, Hannah? Good job, Hannah. Our last topic was all about verb or action word. So a verb is the action or state of being in a sentence. Verb can be expressed in different tenses depending on when the acting is being performed. So for the example is, Jennifer walked to the store. So in the sentence, walk is this verb that shows an action. So, do you have any idea about our topic this morning? But before that, let's have some exercises. So I have here some scribble, and you are going to come up with a word in order for you to unlock the real word that you need. So, we have here the first scribble. Can you tell me what is it? Very good. It is the word simile. How about the second one? Great job. That is metaphor. The third one is, yes, hyperbole. And last is, very good, personification. Now, that is the answer. Very good, class. Actually, these words has to do something with our lesson for today. Now, based on these words, simile, metaphor, hyperbole, personification, what do you think is our lesson for today? Yes, Josh? Very good, Josh. Today we are going to discuss about the figure of speech. Now, let me say figure of speech. What do you mean by that? Can anyone read the definition of the figure of speech? Yes? Very good. So the figure of speech, a word phrase used in a non-literal sense for rhetorical or vivid effect. Figure of speech is a deviation from the ordinary use of words in order to increase their effectiveness. It is also known as a rhetorical figure too because it produces a rhetorical effect. It deviates a statement from the real meaning or common usage to create a new required effect. Class, it is usually emphasizes, embellishes, or clarifies language in both written and oral form. So, we can see that its usage is literature too. We can even see it in the advertisement, posters, slogans, newspapers, magazine, cartoon, and etc. Figure of speech can easily catch eyes and highlight the purpose of use. It is designed to make a comparison and create a dramatic factor while writing or speaking. So class, basically, it is a figurative language that may consist of a single word or phrase. It may be a simile, a metaphor, hyperbole, or a personification to convey the meaning other than the literal meaning. So class, it is usually classified as different schemes. The ordinary sequence or pattern of words is known as a scheme. Class, we usually perform basic for operation as below to create the required effect. So the importance of figure of speech is it is enhance the beauty of the writing. It makes the sentence deeper and less and leaves the reader with a sense of wonder. So it brings life to the words used by the writer. Also, class, the figure of speech not only shows the writer's intent but also his purpose in using such language. So now, we will go now to simile. Who wants to read the simile? Yes? Very good. Comparing two objects of different kinds, which have, however, one point in common by using like, as, or so. So, the simile is an expression used as a figure of speech. Class, it's based on the obvious comparison of an object with any other one based on their common feature. So, the use of similes makes the prescription of the English language multifaceted and arouses interest among listeners or readers. Also, class, its direct comparison helps the reader penetrate deeper in the sense of the statement and give rise to rich association. So, for the example here is, she cries like a baby. You comparing she to a baby. Is there any questions about the simile? Okay, that's good. Now, let's proceed to the metaphor. Who wants to read? Yes, very good. It's implied simile and direct comparison. So, so unlike simile, you are no longer used as like or so. You are directly comparing. Metaphor is one of the figure of speech where a word or phrase denoting one object or idea is used in place of another. So, class, the metaphor are often used to suggest a likeness or analogy between objects or ideas. So, class, metaphor are most often compared with similes. So, both types of figurative language are used to make comparison between ideas and objects. However, class, the distinct difference between these two figures of speech lies in their wording. So, class, metaphors can provide a number of benefits. This figure of speech can help make concept more real and tangible, so improving understanding. Writers can also use metaphors to create vivid imagery in poetry or prose, maximizing impacts on readers. And also, metaphors should be meaningful. So, this figure can be used for clarification or emphasis, or to convey the depths of the idea of concept. So, for the example here is, the camel is the shape of the desert. So now we are comparing the camel to a sheep. Okay? Now, is there any question about the metaphor? Okay, very good. Now we will go now to the hyperbole. So hyperbole is an exaggerated statement. In other words, it is likely overstatement. So we have the term OA exaggeration. So hyperbole is a rhetorical and literary technique where an author or speaker intentionally uses exaggeration and overstatement for emphasis and effect. So the hyperbole can be used to great effect when employed judiciously. So there's a difference between using hyperbole figure of speech and misleading your reader. Class, hyperbole is effective when the understands that you are employing hyperbole. So when you're using hyperbole, the intended effect isn't to deceive the reader. It is to emphasize the magnitude of something through exaggerated comparison. So here's the example. I told you a million times that I don't like her. So, this example, of course, is exaggerated. Because if you said a sentence for a million times throughout your existence, right? So that's why it is an example of hyperbole. Is there any questions about the hyperbole? Now let's proceed for our last one, the personification. So, Anyone can read? Yes. Okay, thank you. So, the personification is an animate. Objects are given human attributes and characteristics. So, personification can be used for countless subjects and literary forms, from poetry to screenwriting. But all personifications falls under the same definition. So, class, just a clever way to bring and animate objects to life is writing technique can enrich description and imbue emotions in unexpected ways. So personification is a literary device that gives human characteristics to non-human things or inanimate objects. So the non-human things can be animals, objects, or even a concept. So class, human characteristic given to these things can be emotions, behaviors, or actions that brings non-human things to life. So personification is common throughout like literature and every speech. So also it can add life, energy, and animation to otherwise lifeless objects or subjects. So for the example is the trees scream in the raging wind. Of course, does the tree scream? No, of course. But you are just giving a human characteristic to the tree in order to emphasize the sound of the tree. Is it clear? Alright. Do you have any questions? Okay, none. Now, I have some questions for you all. Can you tell me what is the essence of learning and understanding figure of speech? Yes, Jessa. Very good, Jessa. As she said, the essence of learning and understanding figure of speech is that we were able to understand other point of view. Of course, not all people are using figure of speech, but you cannot deny the fact that there are also people who are using figure of speech. Now, in order for us to be better understand their sense, or in order for us to understand their intention, we need to emphasize, we need to read or we need to analyze what they're trying to emphasize by putting it beyond what is being said. Okay, so that's why it is essential for us to understand and learn the different figure of speech. Now, what is the purpose of figure of speech? Yes, Freddy? Very good, Freddy. So the purpose of figure of speech is that we can be able to give meaning to a word or to the sentence creatively. So of course, it would be good if you know how to express yourself creatively, and through figure of speech, we can be able to do that. So is there any other question? Okay, great job everyone. Now, I have an, a group activity that you need to collaborate with your groups. Can you please group yourself in 5? Okay, now go to your group, and at this point you need to collaborate with your group. You need to create 2 stanza of poem that consists of 4 lines. Okay, now of course it should consist with different figure of speech. Okay, but here's the criteria. So the originality is 10 points, coherence of form and structure 5 points, clarity of imagery and language 5 points, and presence of figure of speech 10 points. So that's all for 30 points. Now I'll give you 10 minutes to create your 2 stanza poem. Okay, now, finish or not finish, please submit your papers. Okay, very good everyone. So, is there any questions? None. Okay, very good everyone. Now we will have the exercises. So, so I will give you some time, some minutes to finish your exercises. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, finish or not finish, pass your papers. I'm gonna check it later. And now, copy your assignment and look a song that has a figure of speech in it and highlight the figure of speech, then identify the figure of speech used. That's all. And and now everybody stand up for our closing prayer. Okay, see, goodbye class. Okay, goodbye everyone. Thank you for thank you for listening